Hi, I'm Dan St. Marie. I'm the VP of Membership for French Creek Council.
And I'm Stephanie Jackson. I am a Senior District Executive for the Lakes District in French Creek Council as well. And we are here to talk to you guys about membership and our fall recruitment that's kicking off. So, Dan, where do we get started with this?
Well, to get started with recruitment, you need to have good working relationship with the schools that you serve. And that includes having, at the unit level, you need to have good coordination with the secretaries and the principal at the school. And you really need to be contacting them now about this, because if you wait till the fall, they're going to be way too busy to have interruptions with you asking, when can we come in and have our school talks?
Yeah. So what about flyers and other things that we can do at the schools to help out?
So the council office is coordinating all the flyers for the schools. So what you have to do is get your information to the school, or not to the school, but to the council office about your school night of scouting and the dates and the details of all that information. And then we'll provide you with the flyers to distribute at the schools. And then we have all sorts of other fun things to hand out at your recruitment nights and sign up. And you can check with Stephanie on those as to what type of things we have. What do we have set up, Steph?
So your basic recruitment box is going to include some bookmarks we have. We have stickers this year and some posters, and we have yard signs that you can put up, not just for your recruitment night. Those yard signs should go up all over your area, in your family's yards, at your schools if you can do that, kind of anywhere where there's a patch of grass that will have a poster would be great. And we do have all of that stuff for our packs and our troops this year.
And we are planning on having a yard sign blitz this fall. So we are going to put those signs out en masse a couple weeks before the sign-up nights start, so that you're going to, not only we're going to rely on the units to get them out at the unit locations and the charter locations, but we're going to hit all the community events, the libraries, the banks, and as many places as we can get. And if you have suggestions for those places, let us know. We'll make sure that a sign gets put out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the flyers, we mentioned that we help print the flyers at the office, so you don't need to take care of that as far as the unit goes. What are they for? They're for the sign-up night, right?
They're for the sign-up night, so that they have the information about the sign-up night and what's going to take place at the sign-up night. So it's really basically the date, time, and place type of information. They will have multiple units if your school provides multiple services to multiple packs.
Cool.
Just be aware of that.
Okay. So the sign-up night, we kind of try and tell our units that the best method we've seen in our area for sign-up nights is that 3 to 5 table system, where the kids are off playing games or something and the parents just go through the tables, right?
That is correct. Sign-up night should not be a 2-hour adventure. It should be a short time frame for the parents of the prospective scouts who are coming through, looking at the unit to sign up for. They should not be there for more than about 20, 30 minutes. You do not need to wait till everybody is there to start. As people come in, you're going to greet them at the first table. The first table is going to be where they get greeted at and told a little bit about the pack and what's going on with it. What's at the second table, Steph?
So the second table, we like to see more information about your pack specifically. So your event calendar for the year, what your due schedule looks like, so what kind of financial obligation those parents are looking at getting into, and just more information about meeting times, anything to really help the unit feel like they're at home for that table. And then after that, those tables you can spread out as much as you want, or, you can have one more table where they sign up on the application, whether you're using paper applications or you're using the online Be a Scout system. And then, you thank them for coming and you invite them to their parent orientation meeting.
Do they get to meet the den leaders at the sign-up night?
Yeah, they absolutely can. Den leaders, Cub masters, or Scout masters if we're talking about troops. You kind of have as many leaders as are available there, and that's why, we like to have the kids have something to do in case mom and dad have to bring the kids. But that can be games with the den chiefs and that kind of stuff that they can kind of jump in and jump out whenever they're done.
So these games we should have some types of activities for the prospective scouts there, so that you want to plan ahead of time and see if your troop can provide some scouts or even the den chiefs for your pack if your pack utilizes den sheets so that the kids are being kept active around there so that the parents are not worried about. And this is a great way to show the parents that you're organized and that your kids are going to have a
Yes,
fun time.
exactly.
If you have them already taken care of and occupied so that they're not worried about them and constantly looking out for them so that they
Right.
know they're in a safe space.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to having all that paperwork, the calendar and the dues and stuff ready too. It shows you're organized and they're coming into a good pack where they're going to have a lot of fun for the year.
One of the things that I've noticed with recruitment is if you have a good calendar defined at the recruitment night
Mm-hmm.
and that you can give them those dates, you're going to be the first thing on their calendar.
Yeah.
And that means you're going to have better turnout for all of your events. So if you can have your year-round program pre-planned and
Yeah.
specified, we're going to go this on this date. This weekend, we're going to the zoo. This weekend,
Yeah.
this weekend is our family camp out trip and everything. That really helps improve your success as a pack going forward, because that way they can be the first thing on the calendar, and they don't worry about, oh, we have a birthday party.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we already
Right.
we're already signed up for this event. So
Yeah,
so that really
absolutely.
helps out a lot,
Yeah.
having that calendar. Now, they do need to pay their fees at the time they fill out the application.
Yes, they do. So we have a couple options for that. You know, I had mentioned paper applications. We still take paper applications and checks to the office. And then we also have the Be a Scout online system that they can use a credit card there for. And that's something else that the units can kind of tailor to what works for them. So if it's easier for them to request all of the money up front, so it's $135 for the youth for the fall again this year, and that's for the entire year's program. So if it makes sense for them to collect that, and if the unit does dues at the same time, they collect that as well. Maybe they have the family write a check to the units, and then the units can put money when necessary up at the office for us, and we can tag that in to pay for any of the new scouts that come in for their registration.
Now, it's important to be very clear about the dues structure and what is going to the council, what the
Yeah.
council dues are, and what the PAC dues are, because
Yeah.
they are two separate things.
They are.
Both of which the PAC has to collect and then get up there to the office. Now, you mentioned the Be a Scout pins.
Mm-hmm.
What does everybody have their Be a Scout pin up to date?
Well,
Do
we hope so. So the Be a Scout pin is something that our units have control over, that we also can help edit at the office if you're not sure about the system or not. And that's just a way for anyone who is a non-scouter yet, they can put in their zip code into the Be a Scout system, and it pops up with the units that are closest to them. So having the best contact information about when your unit meets as far as the nights of the week and where, is really helpful for those families to find you easier, and they can apply right there before they even come to a meeting.
Yeah, and the Be a Scout pins are super easy to edit, and they do
Yes.
have the basic information that these parents are going to rely on when they're looking for a pack, because parents do have options with packs.
Yes, they do.
And parents find a good pack, they're going to stick with it, and they're going to enjoy it. So
Yeah, that's
make
the
sure
hope.
your Be a Scout pin is up to date before recruitment season starts.
Yes.
So that you have
Yes.
that information. What other type of information should units have put together prior to the sign-up night?
So prior to the sign-up night is, like we mentioned, the calendar for the unit, their monthly dues or their yearly dues, and kind of how much they're looking at. Meeting nights, meeting locations, meeting times for each of the dens, especially with some of our bigger packs that their dens do meet different times in different places. And then, really that's all the information we want them to give out on sign-up night. And then we have another, we like to have our units have another meeting about a week or a week and a half after that sign-up night, which we call the parent orientation meeting. And that's where really more of the questions get answered. The parents have had some time to look at the fees, look at the calendar. And at that meeting is when we like to have units set expectations so that the families know what they're coming into. And then also so that the unit knows what expectations the parents have for that unit. It's kind of that longer conversation that we used to see on sign-up nights. that, really helps get the parents involved and staying in with their kiddos.
And the parent orientation night is a great night for the leaders to find out about the parents and what they do and how they might help contribute to the PAC.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as leaders, you should use a parent orientation night almost as a volunteer recruitment night.
Yes.
Because you can start finding people that are interested in what their interests are.
Right.
And maybe finding little jobs that they might be able to do for the PAC. If you find out that somebody is an accountant in your PAC, boy, I might be asking them about whether they'd like to be treasurer.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the parent orientation night is not just for the parents; it's for the PACs as well to find out the type of individuals that they have coming in and how they can utilize those resources to the best.
Yeah,
for the PAC.
Absolutely, 100%. It's like I said, it's the expectations on both sides of the fence and where those families fit best in within that unit. Yeah.
Now, we are doing a couple things at the council level to help promote this the recruitment
Yes.
in the fall. One of which we talked about was just the yard signs that we're going to be putting out. Not only at the council is going to go out and be setting some of these up, but the units will set up their yard signs as well. What other things is council doing to help units recruit?
So as we also mentioned about us, putting together their flyers and printing those for them to get into the schools, whether that's us as a council able to drop them off or, if someone from the unit's able to drop them off the schools, any way that works. We also geofence each of our sign-up nights. So as soon as we get your sign-up night, we will put together a Facebook event on our Facebook page, and then we geofence that. So we kind of make it a sponsored event within your area, within so many miles around it, to help any families that are in the area that are just scrolling through Facebook. It pops up as a suggestion. And then, we've seen some great success with that, with getting, a couple families here and there for it. And the other thing we do is, as a council, we put together some general Facebook ads just to get the word out that, Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA is still in their area. We're still strong, and we are still recruiting kids. We're always inviting more kids to come and join us, and that works really well in conjunction with the national ads that are starting to be playing right now.
And the national ads is a new thing. Well, they've always been there, but this year they are rolling out a much larger campaign at the national level.
Yeah.
And they're going to be hitting the streaming services, as I understand, with short videos about scouting. And we should start seeing those on like Disney and Hulu and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see that coming out. Now, the units themselves can also do a lot to help promote themselves in recruitment, because self-promotion is really what scouting is dependent upon. We need to have our units out there letting everybody know that they exist, that they're still around, and that they're doing great, fun things.
Yeah.
And self-promotion can occur in a couple different ways. The first thing is just letting your parents share what their PAC is doing, what their unit is doing, and share it on social media as best as they can.
Yeah.
And just make sure that they, share it out to their friends and encourage their friends and coworkers to share them out farther to other people.
Right.
And in addition to that, there's some other things that they can do, right?
Yeah. So one of our volunteers is really great with writing up press releases and getting it out to our local news stations. He's made some great connections for us. So we ask that any units that have an exciting event coming up or who just completed an exciting event, let us know that. Share some photos with us. Share a couple brief descriptions about what happened, and then we can get that sent out in a press release. It's really exciting, again, to just keep the communities understanding of what your units are doing for them. So if you're doing community service, if you have, any events open to the public and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that the word gets out. And that's going to be some of the best recruitment tools you can do, is that passive recruiting stuff where you're not actively necessarily asking families to join, but you're showing what the values of scouting are and what we can do for our communities and what we are doing for our communities.
And we can show them that we're good community citizens as well by highlighting some of our service projects, so that if you're doing a service project in your neighborhood, if it's cleaning up the church in the fall or cleaning up a school, adopting a school to help them out with keeping their grounds clean and neat and stuff, just make sure you get that word out that that's something that you're doing and working on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that you can do is have your youth promote your unit and spread it by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because if you have your scouts telling their friends how much fun they're having in scouting, and wow, we went here this weekend, we went hiking out here, and we saw this waterfall and it was beautiful, or we went up to the zoo, or we went out to, wherever they went for whatever activity, fall activity, they just spread that around to their friends. And now if they do that, they can actually earn a recruiter stripe, right?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, there's a specific patch that they can earn for bringing a friend into scouting when they join, and it's shown right on the front of their uniforms. And it's great. Friends always get made during scouting, but it's also really exciting when you can bring a friend into scouting and see how excited they get about the program too.
And the units can help promote that ideal of bringing a friend into scouting by using a Bring a Buddy card. And these are pre-printed cards that you can give to your scouts in your unit that they share with their friends to invite them to an upcoming event. And you might even have designated meetings where it's Bring a Friend night, where you're doing something that's maybe not in a uniformed event, so that it's in casual clothes that night, so that they don't feel out of place,
right.
so that they feel comfortable coming into this. Maybe it's a movie night, or maybe it's just a game night, whatever type of games you want to do. They could be indoor games or outdoor games, where you're asking everybody to bring a friend, and then that might bring them into scouting to help promote the games going forth. Who do we need to have our units contact if they need additional help or information?
So we have a couple of ways. There's always me up at the council office as the Lakes District, and Mike down in our Rivers District. We're always, maybe one of your first steps to reach out to. The general office will be more than willing to help as well. And then we also this year have set up some Google Sheets and some Google Forms for our units to kind of answer a little bit of a survey just to give us a better idea of what kind of support they need and that kind of stuff. And hopefully we can have that link up on the screen. And again, if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, you can always reach out to me up at the office, Stephanie, or Mike, depending on where you're at.
Well, it sounds like we're off to a great start for recruitment this fall. We are really excited about this year's events coming up. We have some new things happening at camp, new things happening at council, so it'll be fun a year. We just hope to get out the word to as many scouts as we can so that we can really boost our attendance this year.
Absolutely. So again, if you have any questions about recruitment in this fall and how to get more information, contact me, Stephanie, up at the office, or Mike, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.